Hi everyone, it's Henrietta and Heather, and welcome to a Millennial Podcast where we dive deep into the life of our 30s.
We'll discuss our struggles, dreams, relationships, icks, and anything millennials can relate to. Sit back, relax, and let's head on this journey together. We are 30s Unfiltered. Hi everyone, Heather and Henrietta here, the hosts of your favorite millennial podcast, 30s Unfiltered. On today's episode, we'll be talking about how to connect the mind, body, and soul through movement, meditation, and self-care. If you've ever wondered how to start your own healing journey, or just want to learn how body movement can transform your health, this episode is for you.
Yes, today we are diving deep into the spiritual and personal healing with a very special guest, our good friend Kama Hagar, who's not only a beautiful person inside and out, but she's also a certified yoga instructor. She's a meditation guide, Reiki master, and an entrepreneur. She recently moved back to Hawaii, where she spent most of her childhood, and it's also where her organic skincare line, Mukama Botanica, was born. She is currently the editor-in-chief of a local online magazine called Maui Makai, and she's not even 30 yet. We are very excited for everyone to get to know Kama, so please let's give her a warm welcome into the podcast. Hello!
Hi.
How are you?
Beautiful people.
How are you?
I'm good. Oh my gosh, Heather, it's nice to connect.
Yes,
Yeah.
nice to meet you.
Yes, Heather, this is Kama, Heather.
Your background looks so cute. Is that your apartment?
This is my little home. Yeah, I have to hang that painting, but yes.
We're so happy to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. And this is a fun conversation. Just the word unfiltered alone is what is exciting to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Raw and authentic.
And I'm glad that we were able to do it because of the 3 different time zones that we're in.
This is impressive.
Right? Hawaii, LA, and Norway. I mean, it's
so funny. But wait, how do you guys know each other?
Yes. So Kama and I went to FITM together. We got our bachelor's together. It's funny because I have 3 degrees from there. So it's like, oh, which one of my eras at FITM? It's crazy.
So did you guys take class together or?
Yeah, we had most classes together.
We did, and it was all for a business degree and business management, Bachelor of Science. And we, I think Henrietta was just super stoked to be in LA, and like her LA was my Hawaii. So I was misaligned, she was aligned.
Yeah. But somehow we I feel like we balanced each other out because of that.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was really lovely to have positivity around me about something that I was just being like, what the hell am I doing here? So it was actually lovely. You brought a lot of sparkle and joy and sunshine into a period of my life where I really didn't have it. It was just, we'll get into this, but alignment is everything to me. And I didn't even know that then, but I know that now.
Mm-hmm. All the things that we learn. But also, didn't you go straight from your associates straight into your bachelor's though?
I took like no summers off my entire, so I graduated in closer to 3 years than 4 years with my 2 degrees because I wanted to get the hell out of there. And so it was just like,
oh my gosh. So you just moved back
to Hawaii now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I moved back just about 2.5 months ago. And but officially I came here, I actually bought the place I live in now in 2020. It was about a year and a half ago. So I was ready to move, but some other things came up and I did a little back and forth between Orange County and here. Those other things being a relationship that I met like the day my house closed escrow. I met this guy, got really codependent, lost my footing. Now we're back.
Yeah, she's back. Welcome back. Full circle, exactly. Well, now I want to go back a little bit because I know your story, but our listeners and Heather don't. So can you tell us a little bit about your background, your upbringing, and to like the timeline to where you are now?
Yes, I will. Okay, so I grew up part-time between here, Maui, but out in the jungle. Um, Part-time in Northern California, which was actually really the most of my upbringing. So the Bay Area, a little town called Mill Valley. It's just kind of like misty, full of redwoods, cold. And I'm a jungle girl, if you can't get that vibe. I just love warm weather. And I think that was also influenced by my time growing up part-time in Mexico, which was another little side quest my parents took. And I went to elementary school in Cabo San Lucas, which is a strange sentence, I know, but it was really, really, really insightful. I got to be in the minority of a culture. I got to learn Spanish. It was humbling in every single way. And so my life became really inspired by that and the travel that my parents were doing every summer. So my dad's a musician, and we were on tour from the second school got out, actually, oftentimes before and oftentimes into the next school year. I just always say I should have done independent study. It probably would have really suited me because I had to, but instead I learned how to basically be independent. And while I'm on the road trying to handle my schoolwork, eventually like jobs I was taking when I got older, I was like, the only way that I'm going to be able to really sustain anything is if I make it my own. And I always had that entrepreneurial spirit, anyways. And that's really what fueled the rest of my journey. I was like, well, I got to do it on my own. I'm really deeply influenced by people and places, by celebration and connection and culture and consciousness. And the more I saw, the more I wanted to bring a sense of consciousness into everything I did. And I think this happens, right? Like when we the more we see and open our minds and eyes to different people and ecosystems and so on and so forth, you just realize like, wow, like I just want to like give, or like there's so much I don't know, or so everything I ever did just became like a really big piece of like I wanted everything to be selfless. I really wanted to make sure that I was considering all the people and places that I could consider, and if I couldn't, like just give back. So, and that's like a huge thing my family instilled as me as and instilled in me as well. So, I know that's really vague, but it's because I took like five different routes in life from that
Yeah.
point on. But the through line was always like celebration and connection, I feel. And even with fashion, when I was in fashion and met Henrietta, I wanted to be a designer, but I really wanted it to be influenced by like the world. And I wanted the people who wore it just to feel like celebrated in their bodies. I wanted them to feel like the highest version of themselves. And when I pivoted from fashion, and started doing coaching and wellness, that was like a slow, long, drawn out journey. Honestly, because I was in so much misalignment, I started to like go on these healing journeys and became certified in all the things you guys already mentioned. And so from that point on, I realized I really wanted to help people from the inside out. That journey took me on a road, like my skincare was another thing, just like, can you feel beautiful and connected to your body when you're putting your skincare on? And can this be such a self-care journey that's extremely selfless just by the nature of the clean products? So many things like that. And now with Maui Makai, which is my thing that I've pivoted to pretty much almost completely, it's all about celebrating local businesses and connecting people together. And of course, really telling the story about the change makers that are happening here on this island. So yeah, that's kind of the journey in a nutshell about how I got here today.
That's so amazing. I acknowledge you
You see
for
why I
just,
love her?
yeah, like I acknowledge you for just, wow, like your story is so incredible. And I think that, because your parents just, had you experience all of these different cultures and it's just part of who you are as like connection. Like I get you came as like connection and really just wanting to give back to the community. And I get this whole free spirited vibe from you. So I love
Oh,
it.
she is. She was a hippie in her past life.
Thank you. I love one in this life, but I also am a
Yeah.
little bit about it.
And also, like the Cabo thing, her speaking Spanish, does it not make sense? Like we're both like white girls, but like we're
Right.
actually like Latinas at heart.
Yes, white girls, Latinas at heart.
Yeah. We're both honorary Mexicans.
That's what we like to say. Hey, I actually just had the highest compliment. I was at like a bachata festival because I've started to dance bachata, and the a couple of my friends there, two of them are Mexican, like took a photo together and they were both on either side and they were like Los tres mexicanos, and I was like, oh,
Yes.
I was like, this is the highest honor.
You're
I'm
like,
so
yes.
grateful to be.
Everyone thinks that I'm Mexican, but I'm actually Filipino. I'm
Ah,
full Filipino, so everyone just
Uh,
automatically thinks that I'm Hispanic.
they start
totally.
speaking Spanish to her, and she's like, I don't speak Spanish. I mean, you understand and speak a little bit, but it's not like you can, like,
I get offended actually, but that's a different story.
Oh my, wait, by the way, this is ube. You guys
Oh yeah.
created ube,
Oh,
and I
you
wanted to thank
obsessed
you
with
so
ube.
much for that and your people.
Yes. Oh my God, you're surrounded by them over there in Hawaii, girl.
Love, love
Hmm.
people. I love Filipino culture and I love the food, specifically ube.
Are
I
there a lot
love
of
it. I love
Filipinos
ube
in
too.
Hawaii?
Yeah, tons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Hmm.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, you briefly mentioned Mukama Botanica. Also, Heather, if you didn't know, if you go on the website, my face is on there.
Oh,
It is
really?
not saying.
It is.
Yeah, I'm one of the ambassadors. I'm kidding. But I know that it is inspired by Hawaii and also made, or is it still made in Hawaii? I
Not anymore. So
don't.
everything was me in the beginning. It was
Yeah.
me, my home and my kitchen. And then I got a manufacturer. And that's been the greatest thing ever, obviously, because now I can
Mhm.
just chill a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's still here. I still have my skincare line, and there are two products. And both are inspired by my time with Native Hawaiian healers and elders, studying La'au Lapa'au, which is Hawaiian plant medicine here. And it was like, it was truly like downloaded to me, like both formulas. I was like, whoa, I have to make this. And it was for me both times. But then once I started to see amazing results, namely being in the skin superfood serum, that product I made to lighten all like my superficial scarring that I had done from like stress picking my skin at Fitum. Thank you very much. Um, and so I ended up brightening up all of those superficial scars. And it was crazy because there wasn't a product on the market for scarring that was natural at that time, at least that I found or that worked. And so I was so proud. And that secret ingredient is guava seed oil.
Mhm.
Anybody wants to know? So yeah, it's amazing. It's 5 times richer in vitamin C than in orange, and just super multi-purpose. And so once I found that what it did for me, I was like, all right, maybe I'll just start a skincare line, see what
Oh
happens.
my God, I love
And
it. What was that process like though, creating that formula?
so for me, it was just like playing around at home first. First, it was actually the raw guava. That's how I discovered it. I love guava. It's one of my favorite fruits. It's my favorite fruit, actually. It's my favorite. And I was playing in the jungle and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just do a little like facial with this. And I was always doing that kind of stuff. And that I just felt like immediately my skin was so much brighter and better. And so I just kept doing it and saw like beautiful, beautiful results, lightening, brightening, just so glowy and exfoliating. And I just was like, well, maybe there's guava seed oil. Like, how can I do this at home? Because we don't have guava in California, where I was most of the time. So found guava seed oil online, ordered it, played with it. And then I was like, maybe there's more I could even do with this. And I just did research. I was self-taught reading book after book after book. I had a notes app that you could scroll for like 5 minutes on all
Oh
different
my
botanical
God.
extracts.
Hmm.
So I just played until I did something that I really loved. And then once I actually wanted to launch it, it was just finding bottle suppliers. It was doing it myself. So there was no manufacturer at that time. And I did that until I couldn't. I did that in
Yeah.
like a whole apartment in Marina Del Rey that
Mhm.
Henrietta knows. It was like I was swimming in boxes
Yeah.
to like my head.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I
How was
told you
that pro?
she lived right by you.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, right by that Starbucks, like right across from there. I think I pointed out like that's the building Kim used to live in, or I said my friend used to
Oh,
Oh,
live in.
wow.
you've said that.
And,
Yeah,
like
I
you
live
did,
right
but
across.
you didn't. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna say it right now where I live, but so you
Mhm.
mentioned, but like, how was that process with like making the things shelf ready? Were you was like afraid? Was there any like humps you had to go through? Like, what was it like?
Yeah, honestly, I read books about it. I was like, okay, how can I keep it clean? How can like sterile? And I had my whole little sterilization kit. I just followed protocols from books and everything was good. It was, I mean, I knew the oil, I knew each shelf life. It was actually on the bottles that I was getting. And just in general, an oil has about a year to a year and a half shelf life. And I also wanted the bottles to be dark because I knew that the highest quality oils were in dark bottles to preserve the shelf life. And so, and I didn't want to put any preservatives in there. But if you think about it, like your olive oil, it's just in a dark bottle, it doesn't have
Right.
preservatives. It's okay. So for an oil-based product, which that is, it was okay. And I could add essential oils, which actually also helped preserve some of them. So I just clean, natural, did my research, tried it on me. I was using my own product for probably like 7 months before it was even launched. And then I just put it out there, made a little Shopify and was like, hi. Well, actually, before that, I started my Instagram and I made the Instagram for Mukama all about education, which I love teaching. So it was before I even launched a product, I had people's eyes on it because they were going to be like, what does helichrysum do? Or like, I would just post a botanical. This is when Instagram was so different too, right? Just a photo
Yeah.
and then a caption about all that it could do for your skin and your body and your mood. And I think people were just drawn. And at that point, I was like, okay, now they know.
Hmm.
Welcome to Skin Superfood Serum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Reel them in, cut them, and then, exactly. I've been curious though. Have you thought about like expanding into more products down the line, or are you
Oh,
set?
a million times, honestly. I have so many products that I think would be amazing, but
Mm.
obviously it's costly to launch a new product, and I have to get my manufacturers to get that formula right. And there are now, I mean, and when I was doing it on my own, the barrier to entry is much easier actually because you're kind of just ordering it and doing it. It's like a higher cost per item, but you kind of manage it yourself. Now it's okay, like, you got to pay a couple $1,000s to just try to get one right. And then you have to test it. And then you have to do all these different things. So there's that. And then there's really mostly that would make sense if that was my
Yeah,
full-time passion.
yeah,
But
totally.
at the moment, I just feel like keeping that going as it is, and I have some very loyal customers. It's crazy. Like that product, it's like those products, like once you try them, people love them, which is so cool. But I'm just pivoting more of my attention and my money and like my monetary focus into Maui Makai now.
Yeah. Yeah, you have I mean, both of your businesses so far, both are doing pretty well and have been doing well. Like the way, good thing that you did business degree.
Oh
See, like
yeah.
you already had that. You know what I mean? You already
Hey,
had
shout
it.
out to Fitum.
Exactly. So obviously you wanted to work in fashion, you wanted to be a designer. So when did that pivot, when did the shift start happening when you were like, no, you know what? Actually, I want to do healing. I want to focus my time on like actually just doing healing and yoga. Also, when did you've done yoga for a while. When did you decide you wanted to teach it? And then is Reiki and meditation the same thing? Like there's so many questions. People probably don't even know what Reiki is.
Yeah, let me break it down a little bit. All right, so I've always loved the like alt healing. I just loved holistic healing. I loved it to be as clean and pure as possible. I also feel like my family had we were pretty spiritual, and so everything I ever did, I wanted it to be mind, body, spirit. It just didn't feel like that's literally holistic healing. Like it's not addressing just like, oh, this, my pinky nail. It's like, how is the whole thing happening and why is your pinky nail Can I swear what's happening here?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Unfiltered, right? Okay.
It's unfiltered, yeah.
I was just like fucked up. Why am I fucked up? What's going on? At the core, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, what's happening here? So I really have always looked at that for myself. And that's not what I meant to do when I studied all these different things, but it ended up creating a whole. And so I'll explain by I graduated early, like I said, and I was still like it would have been my senior year. So I convinced my parents, like, no, please, like I graduated early, like don't punish me. Like, can I take some courses? Can you pay for some of them? So I ended up first starting with Hawaiian healing. I was just super drawn. I've always loved this culture, the people, like I said. So I studied mostly for the Hawaiian plant medicine, not psychedelic or anything. It's literally like teas and poultices and things on your body. It was like very skincare centric, actually. And because it was through this ancient or this traditional Hawaiian spa, but with ancient remedies. And oh, it was so stunning. And I had actually launched my skincare line by then, but I sort of created my second product and I applied some of the concepts and everything. Beautiful. So that's the first thing. Finished with that, felt like beyond the physical, what was really the most transformative about that intensive training was it was deeply spiritual. And I just realized that every single thing they taught was it was 100% rooted in spirit. And that's what they said. They're like, how do you think we learned about these plants without books and without anything? Like the Hawaiians literally just like spoke to spirit. And I remember at that time, because I was like in a fully different world, I was like, okay, I don't know about that. And now I'm like, yeah, 100% they talk to spirit and they got the plant like download, duh, like 100%. Like, and it's because when you're with nature and that kind of stillness, and we've all had moments of intuition, but when we are truly in stillness and we ask for guidance, we will be guided. And that was actually that whole year. I feel like that whole year, starting from that point, I just was like, where do I go next? And something would come. And because I had so much spaciousness in my life, I truly just listened. So the next one was my meditation teacher training. And I did that, and it was so incredibly powerful for my mind, especially. So I just got this spiritual whole thing. The next thing, it was just mental discipline and learning how to sit with my thoughts and understand the landscape of my mind and watch the progressions and the fluctuations and remain in just a neutral state about whatever was coming up. Like, oh, I'm noticing whatever. That's mindfulness 101. Can I watch and witness myself and not get caught up in the story or the fear of the emotion or the resistance? Like, and when we do that, it fades. And um and then there's so many kinds of meditation. I mean, mantra, visualization. You can use it for manifestation. You can use it for sleep. You can use it for anything you possibly could want, you can meditate on. And that's actually why I created a membership program for my coaching students. And now it's for anyone. But it's just all these meditations for anything you could possibly imagine because it's such a tool. It's just a life tool. It's a life tool to become the greatest version of yourself and to learn to work with the mind. And then you can like move that into whole body as well. So that's my meditation teacher training. After that, it was my yoga teacher training. And my yoga teacher training was obviously so deeply physical, but yoga is still, they're all very holistic practices, as you can see. But for me, I was like, oh, these are the parts of me that I'm addressing. I had never gone through that rigorous of a physical training, just 1 month straight of like 7 hours of yoga a day. And after our training, they would make us go take other people's classes and we'd have to get people to sign off 5 days a week. And I remember like honestly at some points I was like, can you just sign this? I like can't move. Please. Um,
Was
but
it regular yoga or hot yoga or both?
regular yoga, it's actually I did it through Yoga Work. So it's a bit of Ashtanga, a bit of Abhyanga, a bit of Vinyasa. They have kind of their own fusion of things. But holy freaking hell, I'd
Wow.
never gone through that intensive of a time with my body. And it's not just like the physical, like, okay, I'm sore. It's also the connection and the awareness that you're really developing. And that's the whole point of yoga is like, I'm really connected with my whole system as I move through these poses. So that was very, very, very good for someone like me. I also struggled in like my teens with body dysmorphia and all kinds of issues. And really a root cause of that, well, there's lots of root causes we can get into, but a huge thing was I was just so disconnected. And so it was an opportunity to truly deeply connect. And so, yeah. And then my last one, Reiki. So Reiki is technically a Japanese energy healing lineage. And you learn how to harness and cultivate and transmute energy, but really it's like it's harnessing it. It's letting it channel through your body. We're all in tune with this energy. It's your life force energy. So they have a million words for that. Mana here in Hawaii, prana, India, chi, ki, whatever the hell, it's your life force. And so working with your life force or someone else's life force, or the life force that is literally all encompassing, we're all connected to it. It's just getting out of your own way and with pure intention, allowing that to course through you and bring somebody else into their optimal state of being, which we are all whole. And that's something that I learned in my Reiki training, which I like honestly couldn't get my head around because I think so much of what's told to us is that we're all broken and then like we have to fix ourselves to become good. And Reiki's like, no, no, you're all whole. And we just like dust off what is here and bring yourself back to like a remembrance of who you are, not like something down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was a super beautiful lineage to understand. And I had to go back for multiple trainings because I wanted to become a Reiki master. And so now I'm a Reiki master. But
Master.
yeah. And oh, and that was, oh, thank you. And that was so beautiful about that was that it was so emotional for me. So Reiki is very energetic, obviously, but oh my gosh, something about working in that way. I think it's because it's so gentle and present and nurturing. And I always say, if you don't even believe in your life force energy, which you literally be dead. So good luck not believing in that. But let's say you don't, and you're just like not
Yeah.
into that. You just having somebody's hands on your body, and Reiki is sometimes touchless. You can do it remote, but hands on your body or intention on you and your well-being for like an hour, 30 minutes, or however long your session is, that alone is the most healing experience in the world to have someone just hold space for your wholeness. And I think that's why I say that was my most emotional training because I was also so used to like balls to the wall. Even my yoga training, like go push yourself, like
Yeah.
even my mental, like of the meditation, like hours of sitting there, like there's this intensity about it, even though it's like surrendered. But with Reiki, it's just so gentle and so loving. And to me, gentle is radical because that's the
Mhm.
medicine I need, and I think a lot of us need. So yeah, then I began working with people of all of those modalities sort of tied in, and we would sort of pull whatever felt most important for the client or the situation.
And also worth noting is that all of this kind of started coming to fruition during the pandemic, right? Like that's when you kind of, or was it, well, before, but then that's when it kind of took off, right?
Yes, I think it took off during the pandemic. You're right. Like
Mm-hmm.
I already had started, and I love this story honestly because people are like, well, then how did you start coaching? I didn't want to coach or teach. I was
Yeah.
like,
I was gonna ask you that. Like, when did you start?
no, yeah, it was 20, probably 17 or 18. Oh, it must have been 2018 when I started to actually teach. And first I started subbing at the studio I trained at, which is called Unplug in LA. And I had so much fun doing that. And then after, all of my teachers were just like, you need to teach, you need to teach, you need to teach. And I was like, I don't want to teach. I just wanted to run my skincare line. I like wanted to be on this like business journey. And finally, I just stopped resisting and I posted on Instagram, oh, 30 minutes for $20 meditation session if you want to book with me. It was so cheap. I just posted it to see what would happen. And I got so many people signing up. I was like slammed. I was like session to session to session to session. And I was like, okay.
I guess
And
I'm a teacher now.
and to this very day, I still have some of those clients. And actually, most of the original signups are still in my membership. And so, and that was like what, 2018? So,
Mm.
so beautiful. And I realized while I was doing it, like, oh my gosh, I love this. It's so fulfilling to watch people shift. And I wanted to always like make a positive impact. And I was doing that through product or business or whatever. But finally, I could like see people. And it was just, I mean, it was moving. It was so moving. I loved it. And I thought I would do that for like the rest of my life. Like I was like, I'll do this for free. I'll do this for the rest of my life. Um, I started to feel like in the last year, I just needed to change a little bit, of course. Maybe not forever. We'll see. I still have some clients, but I'm not taking one-on-ones now. I'm like, I'll do some events if it feels aligned and my membership so that people can like I can do my weekly content, I can do my workshops with them. That's good. I love that. So
Yeah.
Did you feel like your like energy was like depleted? I mean, obviously like working with people one on one and doing all those classes, like there's a lot of energy there. So,
totally.
mm-hmm.
It used to energize me. It would like I would come out of a session just like stoked. Like I remember my ex being like, okay,
Chill.
you could take yourself on a walk after you do this. So I was like so alive, so excited. But then yeah, it started to sort of take a turn, I think, when I was misaligned. And that was huge because honestly, I wasn't in integrity and I could feel that I'm not even living the life that I want to be living right now. And I knew exactly what I needed to do, but I was in resistance of that. And so it was just a leak in my own system. And I could not hold the space for other people at the same time anymore. And that became extremely challenging. And so I started to tell people like, okay, once their packs were done, I was like, hey, we're not doing anymore. You can work with me like this, but we're not doing any more one-on-ones. And that was hard. I had like an ego death. I was like, who am I? What am I good for? But that was really important too, because I was like the
Yeah.
healer in my family.
Mm.
So I'd actually been holding space and like coaching. Literally, I'm like, I have 28 years of experience and I'm 28 years old. Like, I swear I came out of the womb and my mom
Yeah.
was like, here are all my problems.
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do to fix it? And
Yeah.
I like I felt purpose in that. And so yeah, mediated. I was always that person for my friends, for my family. And it was actually really good to step away because I did. I was freaking out. I had such an inflation of ego come up. I was like, I'm so like yeah, really, who am I? And then I was able to find like I'm so much more than just that. And it helped me break like codependent patterns. It was just really, really, really empowering to step away for some time.
So you briefly you mentioned your meditation program slash membership, Lush Life. So it's been featured in Forbes and ABC News, which is huge. So when you started, did you anticipate it becoming that big, and how did it become that big, like newsworthy?
Thank you. It's been wonderful because everything I've done, I did a lot of I did a lot of personal press in the beginning, and that's actually because I love to write. And so I mean, just shout out to this website called Help a Reporter Out, and they will send you, if you guys have ever seen this, they'll send you a
Oh, cool.
ton of different media outlets will say, hey, like we're looking for an expert on holistic wellness. We're looking for an expert on whatever. I mean, there's all different categories they're looking for. And you write and you submit whatever they're asking for. Usually it's a full article and they will literally just like take pieces of what you wrote. And
Mm.
I did this every single day for probably 2 years. I was just writing, 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 and sometimes things would get published and sometimes they wouldn't. Eventually, I actually got someone to help me with PR because that's literally what they do. But
Wow.
I did my own for a long time. And it was actually great because I learned so much. I got to improve my writing skills. I also would then use the stuff that I wouldn't actually get published for my blog or my like I'd write an article. And so it was never a waste. But I say all that because I just had a lot of opportunity to, yeah, get involved. And then eventually people started reaching out to me. That was like the kind of come through the floorboards way. And then eventually, once like I got more credible, like became more, credible, people would start to say, hey, like we interviewed you that one time, or we heard about you through this. And I always just made sure that whatever the topic was, sometimes the topic could be, it could be anything about wellness. And then, I slip in my own, and I'm,
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
for. Here's what I do. So that's really how all that works. But no, there's been so much. It's a wonderful program. Like I'm so proud of it. It's something that I would have signed up for myself. And so I created basically a hub of everything I've ever done in one place that helped me. And so it's really that mind, body, spirit, holistic place to go. There's amazing healthy recipes because I'm a foodie and I truly believe I have exquisite taste. Anyways, I also really
You
care
do.
about the health I'm putting in my body, what I'm putting in my body. So there's just no compromises. Like it's healthy and it's delicious. That's the whole point.
Mm.
I also have amazing, like all of these meditations. I have some energy work practices. I have tons of rituals from different lineages that I've studied, and even some like skincare stuff in there. And all of the workshops, which is my favorite part about it. We do a monthly workshop, and I often have guest teachers as well. And so we'll do two a month. But my monthly workshops are my time to connect with the people. And it's also just a chance to just hone in all of these different practices in one space. So that's fun. And then everything I've ever recorded there is there. So really all of my best content is in the membership that you can't get access to, but unless you sign up.
Sign
I
up.
gatekeep. I'm kidding. It's funny hearing you talk about like you writing the articles and submitting them like every day for two years. I mean, this all and like your recipes too. It's coming full circle with you now doing the magazine because that's literally what it is.
Exactly.
So much
Well said.
sense.
Summed
Makes
up
so
my
much
life.
sense. Literally, it is.
It's perfect because it's kind of like my favorite parts of everything I was doing. And listen, after some time you get a little sick of talking about yourself. And like I just was so sick of seeing my own face on Instagram. Like, hi, it's Kama. I was like, oh my God. Like, how many times can I like talk about me and my things? I was just sick of it, honestly, and I needed a break. And it's so amazing now because I get to still do the same, like, I'm celebrating things, I'm highlighting things, I'm talking about what's working, but it's not about me. It's like, here's this amazing business, here's this amazing woman, here's this really cool story. And I already love doing that. And it's just the best. It's the most fun.
Yeah.
That's so
100%.
inspiring. Like truly, like your resilience and your perseverance and just like your consistency is just so amazing. Truly.
Thank you so much. Oh my God. That's really nice. Thank you.
Like, what are your self-care practices that you like swear by? That like
Yeah.
every day it's just like this is what I'm doing and it works. And it's a proven system because you're consistent. I'm sure
And
you've
she's a
done it for
master.
years. Exactly.
Yeah.
Give us your secrets.
Oh my gosh, good ass question. All right, it changes for me, but I'll say there are some consistencies. So I'll say this. I've meditated every morning, non-negotiably for the past since my teacher training at least, and a little before then, but since like 2017, 18. So I always have a morning practice. And if I can't get my morning practice, which sometimes that does happen, life is life,
Mhm.
I will find some point during the day to get my meditation in. There's been times where I did 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes every night, non-negotiably. And that was like a year long. And I found tons of benefits until I just felt like there needed to be like a shift in my life. So I really intuit what feels best. For the last few months, I've been doing tons of EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, and
That
that has
help?
been, oh my gosh, yes. For
Oh,
emotions, blocked belief systems, like let's just say literally, you don't believe, okay, I'll actually give you a real story about this.
mm.
First of all, I started tapping because I went through a breakup and I was just like, it's so emotional. And anytime I would be like, like, I'm not gonna be okay. I was like, okay, I'm gonna tap on this. And then you actually say out loud and you're working with the energy. not even energy points, acupressure points that is
Mm.
associated with major organ groups in your body. So it's like this one's like liver or something. I'm probably going to get each one wrong, but you tap through all of them and it's like releasing stuck emotion in those places. And also just the pattern of tapping while you're talking or addressing like an issue in your body. Even you could do this on your own, like anybody who's like watching or you guys, if you're talking about something that feels hard for you or like traumatic or like stressful or whatever, you can literally just like tap your chest while you're talking about it. And it helps shift the energy and it helps shift the neurological patterning in your brain around being like stuck there.
Ah.
And so, like, you'll literally feel a shift already. Also, I believe it helps us drop out of the mind into the body where things can actually
Mm.
flow. There's so many reasons for this, but scientifically backed, 10 out of 10. So my story is not only did it help shift like my breakup sad energy, um, but then I started tapping on money, which is interesting because I felt very lucky my whole life. But starting pivoting from coaching and now like being like trust fall, I'm gonna start working with this digital magazine. It's brand
Mm.
new. I'm in a new place. I've never done this before. I was really scared and a lot of like limiting beliefs came up. I was like, who am I to sign a contract with a business? Like, I only have 1,000 followers on my Maui Makai Instagram, or like, people are going to want more eyes, all these things. And I was like, stop. We're going to tap on money and we're going to tap on how worthy we are of receiving every single day. I am worthy, even though I feel scared, even though I'm not sure. I am worthy. Money wants to come to me and flow through me. People need my work. People need my like creativity, like just creating this new story
Mm.
and on the same day, like immediately, I mean, I've only been like, anyways, I signed 2 year-long clients, two in one day, like boom, boom, boom.
Ah.
Literally just, it's insane. And I only tapped on it like maybe 5 times, but like as soon as I started tapping on it, unlock, 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 people were like, can you send me your media kit? Like, we actually really want to work with you. It's your
Wow.
magnetism is so real and it's really just you in your head. And as soon
Mm.
as you
Yeah.
shift that, you could literally be in your house and no one sees you, but it
Mhm.
shifts the entire energy. And that's why I talk about alignment. So like let yourself come into alignment and EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping, a great
Yeah,
way.
I love that you also like speak it out into the universe. I am
Yeah.
wealthy. I am going to get this client. I am going to get this deal. Like I
Yes.
am, wealthy, whatever it is. Like you're speaking
Mhm.
it out into the universe.
You say it, and
Yeah.
you also start with the negative, which I do like as well. Like you first start with being like, I feel so much fear around money, or like, I
Mm.
don't believe
You're
I'm
being honest,
you're
and
being
then you're saying
honest.
like my wishes or my hopes or my
And
dreams
you
or
should,
whatever. Yeah.
it's just a natural progression. Then it's like a neutral mindset about it until it just naturally starts to be like, well, actually, this could work. And there's videos on this on YouTube. They're like free. So don't even worry about like what to say. Just EFT for blah, 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 whatever you want. So anyway, I'm
Interesting.
huge on that right now. I'm loving it. I don't use it every day right now anymore, but it's one of my back pocket grabs when there's big emotions or something I'm feeling is stuck.
Mhm.
EFT.
Wow.
Meditation every day, movement,
For the for
assessment.
the sorry to cut you off. For the meditations, do you do guided meditations or is it just like in silence? Like what does that look like?
I
Do you
would say
guide yourself?
85 for yeah, I'm like, hello. 85% of the time it's guided. I'm
Got
like,
it.
why make it hard? Like
Right.
Yeah.
really, and that's why I tell my clients and everybody to like meditate with someone. That's the whole point. I mean, make it so that you can surrender into an experience and a state of being. It's not how good you are at meditation, it's about just allowing yourself to get to a state, and that state is a healing state. So, and it changes for me. Some days, I mean, I wake up in the morning and I'm literally like, what do I want to curate and cultivate? And some days I'm like, I need a little grounding. Some days I'm like, I really want to manifest today. Some days I'm like, I want to tune into joy and gratitude or whatever. And I just go from there. So it's never the same. Um, and it varies in time. Sometimes it's like 12 minutes, sometimes it's like 45 minutes. So it's just what I feel I need and what I have the space for. But I try to make space for what I need.
Yeah.
Love
Um,
that.
yeah, and then I have my morning lemon water and I get my direct sunlight and I connect with
That
people.
helps.
Oh,
Sunlight helps.
similar to tapping. And you were
Mhm,
talking about the vagus nerve. This is like your hub point for your nervous system. And that's why they say like you can do, I started doing that right now. You're talking like you can do
mhm,
self-massage on this place
mhm,
when you're super stressed out or just feeling like that like frayed out feeling.
mhm,
When you massage this part of your body, you're actually creating like this whole rerouting in your nervous system. It's calming it, it's bringing it down, it's grounding out. You can do this with breath work too. You can do this with humming,
Mm.
singing. All of these things help stimulate the vagus nerve and ground us. And if you think of like indigenous cultures, like there's always like a singing, there's always movement, like there's
mhm,
always stuff, and of course, tribe. So that's actually been one of my focuses in life right now is making sure that those things are actually the fundamental self-care. Like the fundamental self-care, and that's why I said alignment, are being around good people that you love and you can laugh with. It's having places and people and experiences that you can play in or creating that yourself. Like dancing. I know, Henrietta, you love dancing, which you've been on that for so long. That's another thing. We've always sung and danced. Like all of our ancestors did that.
mhm,
And so it's coming back to those things because they're not arbitrary. They're essential for our well-being. And we've gotten so far. Like all we do is just like sit around on our screens and like cry. And like what is so
Oh,
essential,
we're just
honestly, more than like your freaking smoothies and more than even I'm okay, I think meditation should still be in there, but like more than a lot of things, it's just having authentic play and connection and coming back to those parts of you because that creates joy. And the
Mhm,
more we're in a state of joy, the more magnetic we are, the more we can actually, it's not even, it's so amazing how much comes to you when you're in
mhm,
that state. So that's what I've learned, especially through coming back to Hawaii, because I've always known this was my place. And now all my people are here. It's like everything just lined up because that's what alignment is. And when you get the call, you go
mhm. Yeah.
there for you.
I still honestly don't. Can you give us like a Reiki for Dummies
Yeah,
explanation?
yeah. I knew it. I was like, she's gonna say Reiki. Yeah, of course. Reiki for dummies. That's
Uh,
good.
do it.
So yeah, if you were getting a Reiki session with me, it
Mhm,
depends if you were wanting it remote, because you can do that. I'll tell you that part after, because the more traditional is in person. You're usually like going to lie down on the floor or a massage table or something like this. And your practitioner, let's say it's me, we come in, we talk to you, we try to understand what you're going through, what's going on. You could come for any reason. You could have an emotional block. You could have, you're dealing with something really painful or difficult or confusing. You could just be fine and just want a little like extra loving energy in your life. You could have some physical issues. Whatever it may be. You come in, you sit down, we talk about it, we understand your intentions. But honestly, I mean, the truth is, as a Reiki practitioner, I don't really even need that part from you. It helps because I can hold the space a little bit, but I will tune into your body and feel exactly what needs to be shifted and healed. And as a practitioner, this is interesting. I don't feel like a lot of people talk about this, what it feels like through my hands. And you could
mhm,
feel this too, you guys, because I did my Hawaiian healing training and we learned how to feel energy in the body before I was Reiki certified or even really knew much about Reiki. And my Kumu, my teacher, we'd like put the hands over the body, just hover them, and you will
mhm,
feel like if there's inflammation, it feels hot. And you're not even touching, you're probably like this high off the body. Sometimes you can even be higher. Sometimes
mhm,
it's easier to feel up here, and you'll feel like, oh, okay, there's heat here. All right. Now over here, it almost feels like turbulence. Like if you're in a plane and there's like a little bump, like you can feel
mhm.
that in the field.
Do
It's
you feel it
crazy
in your hand
in
only
your
or
hand.
your whole body?
So sometimes you can feel it in your whole body, but the hands are just like the beginner's place of understanding, like, oh, okay, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling this. You scan the body and you just start to understand like what's happening in the energy field. And you know that your natural energy field is clear and perfect. Again, that's something that we all have. It's just oh, there's like a little thing here. Now I'm going to come through and I'm just going to give this love. I'm going to bring life force energy and flow back to this place. And so just through intent, through presence, through visualization, but it's a real surrender as a practitioner to just like let that course through you and trust you're not like the healer, you're just a conduit. And so yeah, you sit with the body and then you move through and you place your hands on different places. There's like a structured way to do it and then there's a very intuitive way to do it and it depends on the practitioner. So yeah, you sit there, you receive, and as the recipient, I actually just got a Reiki session yesterday myself as a recipient. So I'll tell you fresh off,
Mhm.
just very relaxing. And sometimes you can feel things like I felt a lot of like tension in my head for a minute. And I was like, oh, damn. And we both agreed that like I just been in my head and there's like, I'm going really fast.
Mhm.
Um, but then I actually felt like heat in my hands at different periods of time. Like one hand was like quivering and one hand was really hot. And you're just it's just energy moving. And
Mhm.
so every experience be different. Some people fall asleep, some people whatever. But then what you can expect after is just things starting to realign. Sometimes you can be kind of emotional for a few days because it's like a purge. It's like you drink a lot of water because you're flushing, and it's all again, it's not just energetic, it becomes physical, it becomes everything, it's holistic.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's the premise of Reiki and what it's like and what it's good for is again anything. It's anything. It's just I it's bringing life force back into whatever needs life force. If you had like shoulder pain,
Mhm.
life force, like we got to bring flow back into that space. We got to bring love
Mhm.
back into that space. We got to bring awareness back into that space so that it can heal. So, yeah.
That's so awesome. I have a lady that I go to for Reiki. I haven't had a session in a hot minute, but I'm like, oh, I need to.
You? I
I've
didn't
done
know
it
that.
remotely. And then I
Oh.
went to a women's retreat where I met her in person, then she did it in person. But like when I first did it, because it was remote, she's in San Jose and I'm over here in LA. So I was like, how is this gonna work? My cousin's like, just trust me, try it. And so she's like, would you like to have it when you're sleeping? And I said, okay, sure. Yeah. And then she's like, how would you like me to relay the information to you? She's like, do you want it by email? Do you want a phone call? And I was like, fuck it, let me email it to me. So I have it on record. And she just told me about like my past life of like I was like super angry and just all these things
You
that were
what?
happening like in my family. Yeah. And she's like, you have something like in your back, like you might be having like back pains and
Did
just
she
like
have
all
tarot
kinds of
cards or
things.
something? Or that's crazy. Did you say anything to?
I didn't know her. I just met her through my cousin. She just knew my name and that was it. And then I was like, this is so crazy. So then I paid her also to do readings on my siblings too. And like she was telling me a bunch of things and like looking back now, I can just understand like what happened. So it's just like all the things from the past that are like still in the present moment. And so I've
Mm.
actually done a lot of healing myself, and that kind of just opened up like my self-care journey, my healing journey. And so I actually went to a women's retreat I mentioned. We did mushrooms. And like after that too, like things just started shifting.
Mm.
And I was like, wow, I love Reiki. I love it.
I want
See?
to try it. I wish I was there so you could heal me.
No, you don't have
So,
to.
yeah, you literally can do it. And okay, so that's actually a great, I'm so glad you brought this up, Heather, because people are like, but then how does it work? And as the practitioner, I'll explain this. Here's what's crazy. Well, not. This is to me, I'm like, this is really day to day. We are all in an energy. This is the whole thing about life force energy. We're one. And that is such a hard concept for people to actually like get behind. But what's really cool about, and I always say, even get your like Reiki 1 certification. It's like a couple $100 and you can work on yourself with that level. And you just understand that so much more and you feel that and you learn to attune to that. And that attunement is so expansive because you're just like, oh my God, no, we really are one. And I can feel that completely and knowingly. So you're in that field. And once you're in that field, all information is in that field. It's like we're all here, and it's just getting out of your own way to tune in. And then the name is important, and where someone lives is important. You literally are just like, let me like trance in, zone in on that name, zone in on that location, and then you just allow things to come up. And I'm telling you, you could all do it. I mean, as a Reiki, you get attuned, you learn how to work with energy, but we're all deeply intuitive people because it keeps us alive. It's actually
Mm.
very fundamental to survival. It's like not very woo-woo. It's like I need to keep living, so I
Yes.
need to intuit
I'm
what I can.
hungry. Maybe I should eat.
Yeah, we
Right.
have all of these unseen things. So it's like, all right, you tune into that. And then I like to work, and I think most Reiki practitioners do as well, with like people's spirit teams. And you call in their spirit team, and you're like, hi, it's totally a spirit team of this person. Please show me what needs to be done here. Please show me what needs to be healed. Please speak to me and allow me to understand what's going on. And you'll, as the practitioner or the person, you receive messages differently. Some people hear things, some people feel it in their body and they just know. Some people see things, right? Like they're more vision. So it's like however the message is being relayed to you, but you learn the language of your intuition and you learn to trust what's actually coming through for that. And that's
Mhm.
actually the cultivation of a good, whether it's an intuitive or a Reiki practitioner, is just learning to like get out of your own way and be like, okay, and I've done plenty of this in my beginning. I was like, hey, this is going to sound really random, but like, I just keep getting this image of like a kid on a swing set. And then like, they'll be like, oh, yeah, like they know. And they're like, that's crazy, da 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 da. And I'm just sitting here like, but with Reiki, you really do become like a medium and like a psychic. And you don't need, like, that's not why I never expected that, but it's because when you're working that closely with someone's energy field, you're tapping in. You're gonna get information.
Yeah, that's so crazy. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you like about mediumship, like if you had any like messages or anything that comes, and you do, right?
Yes, well, and mediumship is
You
being
do,
with,
don't
like the death realm and like
Right,
people
right.
passed on, and I'm obsessed with that. I don't have
you?
any certifications in it, but it's actually where I started everything. I started my interest in like the numinous or in energy from working through that. And that's a whole long thing in and of itself. But I was really interested in like spirits, and I was so just like enamored by it. And I like things that are kind of creepy. So I was just like, I was messing around with it, honestly, in a way that was not safe, but I was really young. And then I learned, wow, if you can feel energy like this, or you can call in dark forces, you can most definitely do that with good ones too. And I think I'm going to try that instead. And that's
Mhm.
actually what happened. That was like the start of everything.
That's
Wow.
so insane. I just want to share this really quick, but I had
Please.
this one experience where a friend's grandma passed away, and she was just like, obviously, she was broken and she was just like so sad. And I got this message random, like from her. Like, I had this urge to tell my friend, like, your grandma says, like, you're like, please don't cry for her. You're gonna be okay and you're gonna make it through. Like, I just got this urge to tell her, and I was like fighting it because I was like, I'm not gonna tell her that. That sounds fucking creepy. And then
Mhm.
it just kept like, I can't even explain it. It was just like, fucking say it. Fucking like say it. And then
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
finally told her, and I don't remember exactly what it was. And then she was like, and I mentioned something about, I think, like a jewelry piece or something. And then she was like, that's kind of weird because she
Mhm.
did have something. I can't remember the story, but it was something like that. And then she's like, I think you have a gift. And I'm like, oh. And then I started getting scared. And then
Oh,
that was it.
yeah.
But it's
You're
happened
like, I'm
like
not ready
two
for this.
times.
You're tapping into the field. I mean, whether you like it or not, some people have to learn how to cultivate that, and some people it's coming. It's just coming
Yeah.
no matter what. And
Whether you like it or not.
yeah, and it's learning how to trust it. And I actually could see this. It's funny, you sometimes just meet people and you like can tell that they have that, and it's a feel. And I wish I could put that into words more, but I could see that happening for you. And I would imagine that just it is, I know it can feel scary, but you always can set boundaries with
Mm.
energy and source, and you can say no right now, not right now. You can say, yeah, like I'm not the one for this information. No, just like no. So you can do whatever you need to do with it, but I feel like you're definitely meant to be relaying messages if you're open to it. Thank you for
Ew.
sharing because I do think it's normal for people on this journey at some point to hit a point where they're like, I'm scared. Like, I'm scared. I don't know. And it really makes sense because it's just out of like the comfort of what we know. And we're starting to expand into something very expansive, like infinite and unknown. And so you like tune into you and where you are at like different points, right? But so just like ease in. But my goodness, I think with your pure intent, and you can even say, I always tell people if they like really get scared, like they can just set a protection prayer for themselves. That just literally looks like however you want it to look. I mean, there's tons you can say from different lineages, but you can also just be like, highest, holiest spirit team, may you please like surround me in love and light, protect me.
Mm.
And I have some protection. Like literally put it in plain English. It doesn't need to be like a fancy, but you just tune into that, allow that to be the truth. And so it is, and forward. Um, People ask me about like dark energy a lot. I actually just had like a consultation with someone who was like, but what about like dark energy? And I was like, bro, you're meditating, dog. Like you're like you're just meditating.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, you're gonna be okay. So, like, if you're really playing with like spirits and things like that, and you're trying to like call, then you might want to like learn how to work with energy a little bit more and get a little just more practiced in protection. For the most part, like none of us are doing, like, unless you're trying to explore the dark realms, I think you're good.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm
Good
good.
girl.
I'm
Good.
okay.
Hang out with
Since our podcast is all about embracing life in your 30s, I mean, even though technically you aren't even 30 yet, and giving an unfiltered look at what it means to be a millennial, we'd love to hear about your experiences as a part of this generation. So we have a few last questions to ask you. If you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your future 30-year-old self?
I would tell my future 30-year-old self and all versions of self forever to follow your joy because your joy will lead you to everything and everyone that you've ever wanted. And even when it's scary, because following your joy sounds light and happy, but it actually means making radical shifts and sometimes leaving old things behind, um, and even good things behind for something that's truly aligned for you. Just do it. Freaking do it.
That's a good one. Um, the next one is what is something that surprised you about being an adult that you didn't expect?
That you're free. Like
Hmm.
you actually are. And we have all these weird like shoulds, and sometimes we're literally just being all the things that we were as a kid that we didn't. We perpetuate our own trauma and suffering and struggle all the freaking time. And the truth is, like you can be and do whatever you want, and like you can, it's just in your beliefs. It's just in your beliefs. And so that's why I say, if you don't believe me right now, tap on that. Tap on that and watch.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you working on right now, and where can people find you?
Yep, I'm working on Maui Makai. Honestly, follow Maui.Makai, Makai, on Insta. It's so much fun. Like, even if you aren't coming to Maui or you don't live on Maui, I think it's just such a fun way. Also, people are all asking, how can I support Maui after the Lahaina fires, which
Mhm.
was one of the most devastating things that's ever happened to our island. And it's to support the people, it's to support the local businesses and get us back on our feet because it took a huge blow for our economy. The state of Hawaii from Lahaina alone was making $7 million. Oh, we were losing $7 million a day.
A
Uh,
day?
a day.
Just got the chills. Oh my God.
Wow,
So
same.
people had to leave this island, and it's all a ripple. Like, even if it's not somebody from Lahaina, like, this is our economy and we're an island. So you really feel that collectivism. You feel like if something's off, if somebody's suffering, it's a real impact and ripple. And so that's part of the reason I wanted to launch it too, to celebrate them. And yeah, so follow along, support them, order your Christmas presents from some cool Hawaii local businesses. We actually just did a fun roundup of local businesses like that. And then for me personally, Kama Hagar, Kamahagar, that you can sign up for my newsletter on my website, and my Instagram is that as well. So
Yay.
Awesome. I love
So
it.
exciting. See, Heather, I knew you were gonna like this.
Yeah. Well, Kama, we just want to thank you so much for being here with us today. And your journey is nothing short of inspiring. And we're honestly in such awe of how much heart, passion, and purpose you've poured into everything that you do. And thank you so much for being such a beautiful example of what it means to live with purpose, and for sharing so much wisdom with us today.
Yes, truly. Yeah, seriously. Thank you, Kama. It's been such an honor to have you here and to share your story with our listeners. You're not just building things for success, but you're creating spaces and experiences that genuinely help people feel better inside and out. That kind of passion is rare, and it's so inspiring to see. It's clear that your dedication is making such a meaningful impact on the world. And we're so excited to see where this next chapter is going to take you in your 30s also. You've already achieved so much, and we know it's only the beginning for you.
thank you guys.
So Kama has reminded us, and hopefully our listeners also, that when you follow what truly lights you up, you're not just chasing a dream, you are building something that uplifts others too.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who could use some positivity today. Until next time, stay unfiltered and keep following what lights you up. See you soon.
Bye. Love you. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening. We hope you got some takeaways from today's episode.
You can also follow us on Instagram and YouTube at 30s Unfiltered, or email us at 30sunfiltered@gmail.com.
Please leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to our channels. See you next time.